The way I learned about this internship opportunity was in my AP Computer Science class in high school.
A woman from the county came by my school to promote the hackathon that they were going to have at my school at James Logan.
In the middle of the hackathon, someone told me, oh hey, there's an internship involved if you place, and thankfully I did.
One of my father's former work colleagues took a job here several years ago and showed me around the workplace, and I found it to be rather interesting. So I asked if they had openings, and she said there was an internship opportunity over the summer and I could apply for it by participating in the hackathon.
I get to know the internship from my friend Howard Hill, who's working here as an IT manager.
My mom works over at the county, and she knew someone that told her about the hackathon. And I didn't end up going because I had school, but they let me turn in my resume online.
I heard about this internship from my little brother, Justin Wu. He was an intern here last summer.
My dad works here, so he told me, he's like, hey Amir, why don't you come over here and you can learn what you want to do in the future. And I decided to take full advantage of it because I'm gonna go to college soon.
I was looking for something to do during the summer. I thought it would be a good experience builder. I wanted to learn a lot more about what I'm studying. I'm studying computer science.
Well, when I heard that I got accepted into it, I thought it would be a great opportunity. I thought that this would be a good hands-on experience, and when I found out it would be like an actual job, 40 hours a week, it would give me really good work experience and also help me collaborate with people that are older than me.
I decided to take this internship because I thought it would offer a lot of valuable experience, and I was interested to learn more about how the government provides services for its citizens.
Coming into this internship, I knew a little bit of HTML and some Java, as I had learned in my AP Computer Science class. But now where I am, I've learned a lot, and mostly all of HTML, CSS, and some Bootstrap, introduced myself into JavaScript and jQuery. On the back end, I've learned some SQL. I've learned a little more details into Java. My interactions with mentors would be more like a map than the car itself, meaning that I would have to learn what I need to do to get something done. But the mentors and the meetings we have constantly provide a clear image as to what direction I need to go, where I need to go, and what it would look like where I end up. So essentially, I spend my time learning the things I need to, and my mentors tell me what I need to learn and what I need to do to get there.
I'm very excited to be working on my project called Project Urban Shield, and I'm redesigning the app for it. Project Urban Shield is essentially an event where the government agencies from the entire United States come together and they host this one event, which is known to be, the Olympics of law enforcement, where all of these activities are done, such as practice airplane hijackings or rescuing a plane out of the bay. So to organize this whole effort, which is about 100,000 people over the course of 4 days, which is how long the event is, you need an app to organize the different vendors, the contacts, and everything. I'm recreating the app, which was done 2 years ago, and they wanted to redesign the layout, make it more user-friendly, and make it more modern. It's been a great experience, and I do not have any regrets.
I've been involved in setting up the network infrastructure for one of the new county buildings. And so I've been configuring switches and access points for the networking team. I kind of wanted to expand what I know about computers because I do a lot of programming in school, and I wanted to do something a little bit different.
I've been working on testing and trying out Windows 10 for the county, and I've also been helping the support services deploy and image a whole bunch of computers. Personally, I really like Windows 10. A lot of people that I set up the computers for, they were complaining because it was Windows 8. Interface was too confusing for them. From what the experiences I've had playing around with it, almost all of the county's programs seem to be compatible with Windows 10. I think a lot of people will be happy with it.
So I'm currently working on DocuSign project. It's a very exciting project because it can help people automate the paperwork. So everything can be electronic. Some employee of the Alameda County, if they want to make some payroll modification, before they have to download the form, print it out and fill it in. But now everything online and electronic is very convenient. And also we can achieve the goal to protect the environment.
I've been working on the property tax portal. It's a web app where citizens can look at their property assessment reports and view their bills online and pay for them. So I was looking at how users interact with it and how they navigate through the application. And then after that, I worked on making mock-up UIs for the new one. Now I'm starting to actually work on the code. So I've been working on a property list, which would be in the application so that users can view and manage which properties that they want to follow.
Currently, I'm working on 2 projects. The first project I'm working on is an emergency mobile app for the probation department. Essentially, it's a set of procedures and information, maps, phone calls, alerts, and that are linked to servers, etc., that provide all the information and web page for people to use in the probation department in the event of a disaster. The second project I'm working on has to do with the CRIMS project, which is using criminal data to generate a web-based platform that creates visual reports so that people can see this data. And the people I'm talking about include courts, police departments, and police officials. So then they can look at this data and then make decisions thereafter.
I'm considered as a database/backend intern, and I'm working under the CRIMS project. I've been doing backend development in Java. In a few coming weeks, we'll piece together the user interface, the entire front end and back end as a completely new project.
Right now I'm working on making a server lab for the Skype business to, reuse old servers, salvaging the old parts. Once it's ready, we go through the server checklist and then we put it up in the data center racks. We're hoping this would increase communication along some technological advances in Skype so people can, instead of going on their computers all day, they can use their phones instead.
I've been working on redesigning the BDM, stands for Birth, Death, Marriage site, where citizens of the county can order obviously birth, death, and marriage certificates online. We've been updating that to make it mobile friendly and just more visually appealing than it was previously. My job has basically been redesigning the front end of that for the user. Then recently I've also been working on adding encryption to an internal application for the county. So far it's been quite good. All the employees here are extremely helpful and extremely nice. The projects I've been working on have been interesting. They forced me to learn new things and sort of stretch my boundaries. The one sort of big takeaway, you need to be versatile. It's important that you know how to do something well, but it's also very important that you know how to do a little bit of everything.
So looking back on it, I think the opportunity I've had here is just as good, if not better, than something I could have gotten in the private sector. My biggest takeaway was probably the difficulty of working from 8:30 to 5 every day, and I didn't realize how hard it was. It's kind of cool to think about that. Everyone in the US does it for the most part every single day, and it's really made me have a deeper respect for the jobs that people do every day.
I really like working here. It's my first real job and internship. I love how they set us up at an open table where we could collaborate with each other. My biggest takeaway working for the county is meeting all of the great developers and people here. They treat us like real employees. They include us in their meetings. They let us make decisions about the project itself.
I'm really getting to see what goes on really under the hood at the county, and this really is encouraging me to continue along the path of computer sciences. So my biggest takeaway here is that I was really surprised how simple some of these fixes can be. Like, you have all these smart people who work in different areas of the county, and a lot of them don't really know how to do the most simplest things on the computer, and we would actually have to go out there and do it for them. So that was one thing that really surprised me.
Here I gained some different experience. First thing is the professional field. I can learn some new techniques like AngularJS, and another way is I can communicate with other employees here because it's a very good opportunity to practice my English and improve it.
There is a little bit of stigma about working for government. There's a lot of people say that it's slow or inefficient, and I feel like it wasn't that way at all when I was working here. My time was well spent here. My biggest takeaway from this internship is probably that there's a lot more to it than coding. There's a lot of meetings and planning. You don't really realize that when you're just a computer science student at school and all you do is code.
Oh, it feels like, so good. It's just like, every day you're coming to work, it's like, finally I have something to do, and like I can't like slack off all day and play video games and for the whole summer. That would be just a waste of my time. First I thought it was gonna be maybe kind of boring because it's an office, everybody's gonna be sleepy and tired. But no, it's actually fun. People are pulling jokes in the office and it's actually really interesting and fun just to be there. My one big takeaway from this experience would be just meeting all the people here because they're really inspiring inspire me. You know, I couldn't do like anything without them or actually learn anything at all.
I would say my overall experience has been like just overall wonderful. I'm currently writing a blog for Alameda County, and I've labeled it the first time. And I think that's an accurate description because everything of my experience has been the first time in different ways. My first paycheck, my first interview, my first time dressing up in an environment, a setting where I had to carry myself with professionalism. All of these first times have given me an experience that make me intrigued by the world that I'm going to enter. I'm not yet in college, but it's heightened my interest, and I'd love to see what's yet to come. My biggest takeaway is that it's possible. And what I mean by that is when I looked into this IT world, it seemed like this complex figurations of lines of seas of code, and it seems like something that only a mastermind would be able to do. Later I've realized that no, I can do some of these things. I can code, I can communicate with others, and I can bring together resources and get something done. And what this has inspired me and let me do, I'm currently working on a project creating a device for the blind that uses haptic information to recreate an environment using tactical sensors. So, you know, I probably wouldn't have gone and put my foot anywhere into this had it not been for the experience and the confidence that this program has provided me.